Welcome. This is a, hopefully, helpful guide on how to beat the Reflectrial boss fight in Limbus Company. Reflectrial is a new, late-game boss fight that players may find very challenging at first, and every subsequent time after. That being said, I will be breaking down the mechanics and structure of the fight for you, as well as some strategies to help you win. There's going to be a whole lot to discuss, so let's get right into it. Starting with a general overview, Reflectrial has a normal and hard difficulty, each with their own rewards for completing the fight within a certain time limit. The Reflectrial allows for an maximum of 3 team loadouts, where identities are used in one team loadout and cannot be used in another, so choosing your teams wisely is necessary for a swift victory. When switching to a new loadout, SP will be given to deployed sinners based on turn count, but you have a 12-turn limit for each team. After 12 turns, the battle will be paused, progress will save, but you will need to use your team. The boss's current phase, HP, and SP, as well as your own ego resources will be saved across teams. You may also opt to save the battle yourself in the pause menu. Reflectrial's main addition is the mode-exclusive changes applied to both sinners and enemies that can either make it easier for you, or screw you over. These effects come in 2 categories. Shade of Reflection, which buffs your sinners, and Tribulation, which is active only on hard mode, and buffs enemies. Shade of Reflection changes based on boss phase. In Phase 1, you get Shade of Reflection Rouge, which makes Lust Affinity or Bleed Inflicting skills do an extra 25% damage, multiplies enemy damage taken from Bleed by 1.5, and generates ego resources based on absolute resonance. In Phase 2, Shade of Reflection Blue, much like its rogue counterpart, increases damage on skills, though this time it's a 25% damage increase for bloom skills and sinking inflicting skills, with a bonus effect of inflicting 3 fragile on encountering enemies. Identities with the Fingers keyword will also deal and take an additional 15% damage. In hard mode, Tribulation is also applied to enemies, giving them 25% more HP and increasing their status effect infliction. For Phase 2, Rufo also gains an SP heal when using a certain powerful attack. Since the Shade of Reflection effects heavily boost bleed and sinking teams, I highly recommend the ring IDs for Phase 1 of this fight. Specifically Hong Lu and Faust, House of Spider IDs, easily the 2 best picks for this Phase 1 team, for their damage and attack weight that can kill or stagger multiple enemies at once. Ring Rodion and Merceau are also great picks for taking out the blunt weak students. My personal X choices would be Ring Yisong with Kurakumo Ishmael and Heathcliff. If you're missing some IDs, you can use the following on screen as serviceable substitutes. When choosing egos for this phase, the best options are high AoE, high damage, Lust Affinity, or Bleed Inflicting egos capable of clearing the fodder as fast as possible. Depending on your loadout, if you choose to use Ryoshu, she has 2 options in her wall slot, that being Great Trichiliacosm and Contempt Awe. If you're running a Blood Fiend team, then Yearning Merkala Anton is an obvious AoE choice, and Merceau's version is just as capable of high single target damage. And then of course we have Rodion, with probably the best ego options among them. Sanguine Desire is an extremely high rolling ego that is empowered by bleed on the enemy, and will completely stop the bleed stack from going down. This ego alone makes Rodion essential to the team. Hexnail is also an option, a bleed inflicting heal ego that almost perfectly is designed for this event, inflicting a multitude of debuffs on the enemy and healing more HP for your sinners for every debuff they have on them. And they will certainly have a lot. For Phase 2, the boss is weakened while panicking, which gives 2 main options. An index team with other similarities that inflict unique types of debuffs, like Young Office Ishmael, Ujat Otis, and Faint Aroma Ryoshu, or instead a Butterfly team, Solemn Lament Yisong and Lamp Gregor, it's about equally as good. For this, you should be running Knight of Despair Rodion on either team, for her insane sinking infliction, as well as high damage output. And while those aren't the only 2 teams that work, most other teams have a hard time dealing with the immense protection stack. Ego is not as critical in this phase, mostly used for clashing Rufo's nuke skill, but Ego, like Great Trichiliacosm, Tidal Elegy, and Solemn Lament, can deal serious damage to Rufo, Egos like Rhymeshank Rodion and Bygone Days Ishmael can still be useful for maintaining a sinking deck. For the actual battle, Phase 1 consists of Rufo, with 4 Valvus students as her allies. Rufo uses a 3-turn attack cycle, where every third turn she uses the skill Critique once against each sinner. This is Rufo's most dangerous move for this phase of the fight, able to stagger or outright kill sinners that lose the clash. If you are struggling, neutral, or hopeless against this skill, always use a defensive skill. It will reduce her damage and remove her ability to reroll the coin. After this turn, she respawns any dead allies and restarts her attack pattern. You should focus on clashing and killing the students first. They will gain 2 protection after taking an attack from Rufo, and give her 2 protection while they are alive. Once all of her allies die, Rufo herself gains 2 fragile, which is the best time to deal damage to her. Killing her allies gives you ego resources, and makes them weaker upon respawning. Alternatively, focusing down Rufo with bleed skills can actually expedite the killing process at the risk of taking many attacks. Rufo's protection will be the most annoying part of this phase, and working around it will be the best shot at victory. Remember that Absolute Resonance gives ego resources as well. The best option is to either use high damage AoE skills, or ego to wipe out the students and leave Rufo weak, or use bleed to do massive true damage over time. Once Rufo reaches 70% HP, Phase 2 begins. Her allies are removed from the rest of the fight, and the shade of reflection buff changes from rouge to blue. At this point, you can decide to pause your progress and switch teams, or to try to trip in some damage with Phase 1. I'd only recommend swapping team if you are on turn 9 or higher, and only if she's active in those phases, because you want to use your next team at full SP. Phase 2, Rufo will continue to use a 3-turn attack cycle, but this time it ends with a massive AoE attack, and can essentially wipe your team and cannot beat it in Clash. For this phase, the 2 main things to consider is that Rufo loses 1 protection for every unique debuff she has on her, and she gains 3 fragile when panicked. Pay attention to her sloth skills, which inflict the Touche Harde effect, which when combined with Mauled Colors Rouge and Blue becomes Palette Vibrante. Rufo will gain a Clash Power buff against sinners with Palette Vibrante, especially when using her nuke. Using defense skills, Palette Vibrante on a sinner will reduce the damage like in Phase 1. At 35% HP, she will gain a buff that changes all of her coins into unusable coins, meaning chip damage will become unavoidable on all of her skills at this point. The best option is to try to do as much damage as you can right after she uses her nuke, because she will lose all protection and gain 2 fragile for 1 turn after using it. Simply nuke her before she can nuke you. That's all there is to it. Even with the right teams and strategies, this fight is still fairly difficult. Some aspects, especially early clashes, are left up entirely to luck, and a bad start could just cost the entire run. If in the first few turns, your main DPS identities haven't gained SP or already at low health, just retry for a better chance. I recommend using Durante when possible to make it easier. Superbia and Ira could save a Doom run or get you off to a strong start. That's all for this guide, and best of luck in completing the challenge. Thank you for watching. Argentum out.